How do you rank your Knoxville Nationals victories against everything else, whether it's a cup victory? Where does it rank on your scale?
I mean, I've had a lot of great...
All gathered here from all over the world, waiting on that moment when dreams unfurl.
So if you weren't able to come to the Knoxville Nationals this year, that means you weren't able to go inside the Hall of Fame and museum. No worries, I'm going to show you what's inside. And the cool thing about going in there is you never know who's going to show up. From Kyle Larson to Shane Carson to you name your guy, Rico. He's in there too. I mean, the whole experience is just awesome. You got to see this.
Okay, thank you very much.
Waiting on that moment when dreams unfurl. Sunsets glow on a Saturday night. For us, there's only one way that's stronger is all. It's all about those good times, summer nights for us. It's all about those good times, summer nights for us. It's all about those good times, summer nights for us. It's all about those good times, summer nights for us.
How do you rank your Knoxville Nationals victories against everything else, whether it's a cup victory? Where does it rank on your scale?
I mean, I've had a lot of great, moments and wins and whatnot in my career, and it's really hard to pick, one that stands out above the rest. But it's definitely in the top three, I would say. I think, I try to rank it, and I would put the NASCAR championship probably number one, just because of how tough the format is to win, and coming back from 2020 and all that, and having a great year in 21. Like, that was just a huge moment for me. But we also won my first Knoxville Nationals that year, and very kind of similar emotion, winning. And yeah, I would say that, first World Outlaw win was big, first Chili Bowl win was big, first NASCAR win was big. There's a lot, but I would definitely put the NASCAR championship at the top.
Oh my gosh. You know what? Learn fast. Just like he's doing now. He is very committed with David together now for 5 years. Yeah. They got it going. That's a great team. Yes, yeah. They are. And David Gravel's a great champion. He's a great champion. I mean, he is. And a lot of people don't know that. People don't realize. But I know it. He's a young Donnie Shaw. He's clean. He don't make mistakes. He don't put himself in dangerous positions. You watch him on track, he's never out of control. All of us run on the edge, but his edge is, I guess, handled. He can do it. He's got that little more if he needs it. Yeah. That's great.
Two classic drivers to go with the classic old cars.
That's right.
3 days ago. Yeah, I remember this car.
He was around when that car ran.
Yeah, I watched Fred Linder drive it at Millstream. And I remember Fred telling him they took it apart then and checked all the stresses where it was cracked and broke everywhere.
Is that an aluminum chassis?
Oh, yeah.
The whole car.
He ran it here.
But you said they outlawed it after qualifying? What?
Yeah, I was here, qualified it, yeah.
And they said no more?
That's what they said.
They said, we like you, Shane.
And I said, wait a minute. I said, wait a minute, there's no rules. And they said, we just made one. And Nance was sitting right there with me. He goes, what do you mean we can't run? I said, well, that's what he said.
Did the car go on to have success a little later somewhere?
Oh, no. We took it home and took it all apart, built a steel one. And 20 years later, Laverne Nance had a stroke. So they had an auction at the Nance Speed Equipment in Wichita. I went up there and bought the frame because I knew I wanted to do this. And it's taken me 25 years or so to get it all done.
Wow. So you restored this or put, that's
Correct.
really cool.
Yeah, it's about racing. And I was in the non-lane car. Oh, man, that's cool.
Who you got?
Hod, what are you doing?
This is good.
No, I'm sitting here bullshitting with Shane Carson in the Hall of Fame. Talk to us.
Hey, kid, you need to come by and see us.
You're in Knoxville.
Yeah.
He's in Knoxville.
He didn't come out.
Oh, that's right. He's in home.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
Hod.
Tell Shane I said hey.
Hey.
I hear you.
Hey, Hod, do you remember when Laverne built that aluminum frame, Nance built that aluminum frame car?
Yeah, sure did.
That's what we're sitting here looking at.
Yeah.
Shane raced that thing.
Yeah, it's all restored. Yeah.
Oh, no way.
It's
true story.
Badass, dude.
No
We've
way.
just been carrying and talking about it. Yeah, it's awesome.
I think first race they run it, I think Fred ran it at Western World and the rear tubes fell off.
Yep. That's exactly what we were talking about.
We were just looking at steel
Yeah.
tubes on the back.
Yeah, exactly. He was talking. We were just looking where they welded everything back in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
I just love these old classics. This is an old Champ car from the 1950s. Offenhauser engine, Curtis Craft chassis. Isn't it a beauty? Driven by Phoenix, Arizona's Bobby Ball, who finished 5th in the 1951 Indianapolis 500. Unfortunately, Bobby crashed hard at a racetrack in Southern California and succumbed to his injuries. At much promise for this young up-and-coming racer. What a beautiful machine. Hey, how about these two beauties? I think two of the prettiest sprint cars here at the Hall of Fame Museum. This one built originally by Eddie Kuzma, but finished up by Wally Muskowski. Johnny Rutherford drove this car, 3-time Indy 500 winner. Rutherford won the 1965 USAC National Championship in this beauty. And how about this Wally Muskowski car? Isn't it sweet? Look at that. This is that famous car that Johnny Rutherford sailed over the backstretch wall at Eldora in '66 and broke both of his arms. But this car went to victory lane with A.J. Foyt, Mario Andretti, and Mickey Shaw. It's the first car to incorporate Wally's parallel torsion bar front suspension. Isn't that interesting? That is just gorgeous. If you've been following sprint car racing forever, like I have, you know about Bob Trossel and all the great champion drivers he helped over the decades. But this is an exact replica of Trossel's garage and all the magic that happened in it. It's here at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum, and this is really super cool. Speaking of Bob Trossel, there's a Trossel machine. This car won with that one guy in the seat, Steve Kinzer. His first of 12 Knoxville National titles came in this machine in 1980, a Bob Trossel prepared sprinter. Yeah. Wouldn't be complete without a Steve Kinzer car here, and fortunately they have one, and this is a beauty. Check out this beauty. The #1 car driven by Bubby Jones, one of the more popular sprint car drivers from his heyday. 1983, he won the CRA Sprint Car Championship out on the West Coast. His Hall of Fame career included 80 wins with CRA, second all-time, and 22 wins with USAC when he was out here in the Midwest. But around 300 overall in his career. You know that guy, right? Bubby Jones drove this machine. I love it. How Great Thou Art. 1969 Art Krause Special, driven by Bob Kleberg, won the first ever Western World event in 1968. Kleberg ran this car in 1969 and won 4 times at Manzanita. But look at the craftsmanship in these old sprinters without the cages. They're so gorgeous. Isn't that sweet? I wish they'd bring back the round hoods and the chrome grills. I really do. That is art. And yes, Brad Doty is here too. He drove this 1982 Gambler chassis to the Rookie of the Year honors in the World of Outlaw division in 1982. But this car remains a fan favorite for sprint car fans around the world. The 28D, driven by... This car has a big history with some big name drivers, Bubby Jones, Sammy Swindell, and Ricky Hood, to name a few. But Bubby Jones drove the car in 75 and 76, won the prestigious Western World at Manzanita in 76. Sammy Swindell was the driver in 1977 and 78. And 77 alone, he won 30 of the 51 feature events he entered. But big history in this machine. And of course, look at that. Isn't that cool? Sammy Swindell, M.A. Brown Trucking. Beautiful sprint car. John Williams built this sprint car in 1937. Check out the list of drivers. Jack McGrath, Johnny Parsons Sr., who won the Indy 500 in 1950, Andy Linden. I mean, just a great example of the pioneers who took all these risks to get this sport to where it is today. No power steering, no roll bar, just a lap belt, not even a shoulder harness. But this is how they did it, and it's a wonder any of them survived. You see the mechanical fuel pump and the handbrake. So you're driving with one hand while you're pulling on a handbrake or pumping up the fuel with a mechanical fuel pump. But it's what an incredible era. The fact that this ever even happened, so interesting to me. What a fascinating museum. I know you remember Ron Schumann. He drove this Stanton chassis back in the day. Sweet. The Metro Plumbing number 51 sprint car. Drivers include Russell Fawcett, Billy Boat, Jimmy Edwards, Rick Setzer, Billy Schumann, and Gene Brown. Beautiful machine. I love that. So awesome. Look at that. Kramer Williamson drove this car. In fact, he won the 1995 URC Point Championship in this car. URC is still alive today, one of the longest running open wheel sanctions on earth, but Kramer Williamson. The Hall of Fame and museum would not be complete without a Grant King built car. Fortunately, they have one here driven by the late great Sheldon Kinzer, Sprint Car Hall of Fame inductee. Team raced in the Midwest Outlaw Circuit, winning over 50 features. What a sweet looking ride. Sheldon Kinzer car. Grant King chassis. What a beaut.
Yeah, of course. Yep, thank you.
Are you an artist too?
I'm sprucing it up. I don't want it to be different than everybody else. You know what I mean?
I hear you. You're giving it a little extra. I love that. I don't know if it's going to go on the wall next to a Rembrandt, but I like what you're doing there.
You never know, though.
Waiting on that moment when the dreams unfurl. As the sun sets low on a Saturday night, for us there's only one way that's stronger is all. It's all about those good times, summer nights for us. It's all about those good times, summer nights for us. It's all about those good times, summer nights for us. It's all about those good
This is one of my favorite cars here. Obviously, it didn't run in the Knoxville Nationals because it's a midget. But the fact that it's a Curtis Craft built chassis and midget with the Offenhauser gets my attention every time. Look at the craftsmanship. Look at the front grills on these things. The round nose pieces. So cool. And the list of drivers that raced in this machine is incredible. Johnny Garrett, Roger Ward, two-time Indy 500 winner, Troy Ruttman, Indy 500 winner in 1952, Bill Vukovich, who won back-to-back 500s, 53 and 54. Alan Heath, the one-arm warrior, drove this car. I mean, the history of this machine is incredible, and I love its simplicity. Just black and white with those markings. I mean, I love it. This is one of my favorite cars here at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum, even though it's a midget. But I mean, that is perfection.
Waiting on that moment when the dreams unfurl. As the sun sets low on a Saturday night, for us there's only one way that's stronger is all. It's all about those good times, summer nights for us.
Another Bob Trossel built sprint car. This one driven by, you'll recognize him, Doug Wolfgang. Won 10 straight features at Knoxville in this machine, including that year's Knoxville Nationals. Sweet.
I feel like some of it's just not that smart either.
That was what it was.
Right.
Yeah, we just wanted to race no matter what.
Like,
Carson, what are your thoughts on the men who drove these open wheel race cars without, a full roll cage and just the roll bar, no power steering, the hand brake out the side, the whole thing? I mean, would you have done it?
I can't be honest right now because I got Shane next to me. He's the one that drove.
Well, that's true,
Otherwise, I'd be
and your
more
bro.
But I think they're crazy. They're either crazy or they're brave. I'm not really sure. Maybe both. He just told me that they had one Zeus button holding the back of the seat in, which is pretty crazy. You couldn't.
That's what Nance told me.
The drivers nowadays are wusses. They would never do anything like that. We're putting in systems that make the seats move to where our backs don't get hurt and stuff like that. These guys, they were gonna fly out of the car if it was bad enough.
Well, I've got to believe you appreciate the pioneers who came before you, and many of them died doing it, without the cages. And
I appreciate it for sure. I'm glad that I'm not one of the guinea pigs. 'Cause, I'm glad that Shane here got it DQ'd before me.
Yeah, Nance thought that was just unfair.
Yeah.
They just treated us unfair. And I said, well, Laverne, maybe they know something we don't. He goes, I know more about that aluminum car than they do. That's what he called it, aluminum. I said, well, I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, what are chassis made of today? What is the steel?
4130 chrome ollie tubing.
Okay.
From all over the world, waiting on that moment when dreams unfurl. As sunsets glow on a Saturday night, for us there's only one way to go.
What a beautiful sprint car. I love this car. Kenny Gritz, the driver. The Snyder Fiberglass Special out of Lincoln, Nebraska. That is beautiful. I love the simplicity of these older race cars. No fancy wraps, just hand painted craftsmanship. It's beautiful.